13,000 years ago, a massive apex predator vanished from the Earth. Today, most people know them entirely through mythology, specifically as the giant, fiercely loyal pack hunters from the Game of Thrones series. But in October 2024, a company called Colossal Biosciences made an announcement that dominated global headlines. They claimed to have successfully achieved the world's first animal de-extinction. The proof they offered was a trio of newborn pups named Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi. Right now, they are living inside a sterile, private research facility somewhere in the United States. While the footage of these animals looks incredible, the scientific community remains skeptical. Experts are openly stating that the company failed to bring back a real extinct animal. Looking closely at how these pups were actually created reveals a genetically modified proxy, raising difficult questions about what is real and what is simply an illusion of nature. To understand exactly what these scientists did, we have to look at how we've tried to reverse extinction in the past. The oldest method is backbreeding, like the 1987 Quagga project, which selectively bred modern zebras over decades to slowly recover the lost traits of their extinct relatives. Then came direct cloning. In 1996, the world saw Dolly the sheep, an exact genetic duplicate created by inserting a perfectly preserved cell nucleus into a surrogate egg. But cloning relies heavily on having perfectly preserved living cells. When scientists tried this in the year 2000 with a recently lost Spanish goat called the bucardo, the single clone born had a severe lung defect. It died 10 minutes later, making the bucardo a species that actually went extinct twice. Because the original giant wolves died out 13,000 years ago, there are no perfectly preserved cells left to clone. That forced this new tech company to try a third approach: genetic engineering. Without fully intact DNA, they couldn't revive the original animal. Instead, they had to take what shattered biological fragments they could find and attempt to build a new creature from scratch. Scientists started by pulling whatever severely decayed genetic material they could extract from a 13,000-year-old fossilized tooth and a 70,000-year-old skull. They mapped those ancient fragments against the modern gray wolf, finding a 99.5% genetic match. That modern wolf became their biological baseline. To turn that modern template into the extinct predator, they utilized CRISPR-Cas9, a technology that acts like microscopic genetic scissors, allowing scientists to cut and edit specific sections of DNA. This diagram illustrates the extent of those edits. Scientists altered exactly 14 gray wolf genes, controlling cosmetic features like size, skull shape, and fur fluffiness. But a genome contains millions of genes. Tweaking just those 14 sequences changed less than 0.0001% of the wolf's genetic code. For context, humans and chimpanzees share roughly 98.8% of their DNA. If a laboratory were to edit 14 cosmetic genes in a chimpanzee so it physically looked more like a human, would it actually become human? Biologically, Romulus and Remus remain modern gray wolves, albeit wearing $1 million genetic costume. Beyond the genetic math, there is a serious ecological issue. The original predators died out naturally because the massive, prehistoric prey they hunted completely vanished from the environment. If these new proxy animals were released into modern forests today, there is no biological niche left for them to fill. They would simply be forced to compete with native wolves for already scarce food sources. The company is fully aware of this. Their plan is to keep these engineered pups in restricted zoo attractions. It generates publicity for their actual flagship project, attempting to bring back the woolly mammoth. This project targets publicity and corporate profit over any real consideration for natural ecological balance. While millions of dollars are poured into altering a handful of cosmetic genes to mimic a ghost, real biological diversity is collapsing under the weight of human greed. Take the northern white rhino. In the 1970s, hundreds roamed the African plains. Today, exactly 2 remain. Both are elderly females. When they are gone, that entire evolutionary line vanishes completely. Nature takes millions of years of meticulous evolution to adapt a species to its environment. Yet these vital creatures are wiped out in decades. Instead of manufacturing an expensive illusion of the past, we need to focus our vast resources and our scientific brilliance on saving the species that are still here, actively fighting for their survival.